the more innovative your product is, the more unoutsourceable the sale will be. Hi, three sales you will go through as a tech founder to build a venture. The first one is selling the founding team on your vision. The second one is selling your early adopters on a very early version of the product. And the third one is selling investors on your operational ability and on the scale of the venture. And these are very complex type of sales. And why they are complex? Because you're introducing risk to other people. And there are different maneuvers to offset that risk for each stakeholders of those. So let's take the first group, the founding team. The risk is simply the opportunity cost. What are they doing at the moment? So your vision has to be big enough and compelling enough to be proportionally higher than the best case scenario of what they are doing at the moment, taking it's a career, a job, or another venture. And it has to be very clear what is there for them. So you have a very clear description of what do they get for their contribution in the different stage of the venture. The second group is early adopters, and the risk here simply is usability risk. There is no proof yet that your product produced results. There's no case studies, there's no testimonials, there is no any proof. So first, you need to surgically segment the market and know the characteristics of these early adopters who can vote with their time to try your product. And once you find them, you need to de-risk everything in the engagement. You need to help them with onboarding. You need to help them in the process. Simply you don't want to ask them to do the work. The third group, the investor sale, there is no one playbook for that. It's based on the stage and the type of investor. But generally, there are two layers of risk here you need to address. First, the operational ability, the executional ability. Why you and your team exactly the ones to invest in? The second is the economics of scale, because everything can be profitable at a small scale. So you need to show how the economics work for your venture at a big scale. And the acquisition channels, you need to show how you can reasonably acquire a large share in that market. What leverage do you have? So do you have to master the three of them? Let's hypothetically try to exclude one. So can you avoid the investor sale? Yes, if you can compensate for that by being way better at the first two sales. So being good at distribution can ramp up revenue for you. You can even sell customers on long-term contracts and use that as customer financed growth. And if you're good at the founding team sales, you have talented and committed people investing with you with equity-based compensation and ready to play the long-term game. So by saying avoiding the investor sale, I'm not saying completely avoiding investments, but the later stage investments are not technically a sale. There is way low risk at that stage. So it's a very mild risk process at that level. Can you avoid the founding team sale? Yes, simply if you are good at fundraising. So if you raise the funds already, you are paying in cash for your team. You still want to show them that you are a good person to work with, so there is still a persuasive nature in it, but technically it's not sales. You can reasonably overpay the market value for their compensation, so it shall be very smooth. Can you avoid the early customer sale? Here where it gets very tricky, and this is actually the focus point of this video. If you're in a commodity market, let's say you're in real estate or cars, you can reasonably find very talented and competent salespeople who can give you results from day one. Why? Because this commoditized product have a long history of knowledge base that people know every detail about the buyer psychology, about the buying process, about the product. You even have sales coaches training new salespeople and supply that demand in the market. So you have new talents coming specifically for that market, for insurance, for markets that are commoditized and have a long history. So let's apply that to technology ventures. If you are building another CRM or another project management tool, yes, you can reasonably find competent salespeople who specialize in this exact product type and can give you results on day one. You can even directly headhunt them from the big companies. But if you're introducing something new to the market that the market don't know about yet, if you're opening a new category, your sales team don't know about yet either. So instead of spending time with early adopters, teaching them about what you are building and teaching them how to get value from the product, you're spending that time with your salespeople and have a long learning curve of at least 3 months for them to get it. So this is a very value destructive process. And from my point of view, the early customer sales has to come either from the founder or one of the founding team who's a salesperson.